Now I request CA Pramod Jain ji to kindly start your session, and then after Vejan sir will start his session.
No, sir, I'll request our past president, sir, Ved Jain ji, because we have our past president Ved Jain ji out here, who is not only our president, past president here, but also a very, very excellent expert into direct tax. And when he is there, so I'll be just following him. So whatever he says, that is an order for me. So, sir, I'll request Ved Jain ji to please start his deliberation. So whenever it will require, I'll supplement.
Thank you, Pramod ji. I think I myself said, let Pramod ji speak first. I will come late. Now, since you have asked me, I will start it. Guest of honor and chief guest today, Madam Poonam Sidhu ji, with whom I had the privilege of being interacting and arguing before the ITAT, I believe, on many issues, maybe on different sides. And I was very pleased to hear the views of Rohit about Madam, how she has been working as Principal Chief Commissioner at Amritsar. It's a pleasure, Madam, the way you have been working and the way you have been taking forward the agenda of the government. Transparency and the confidence, winning the confidence. The trust is the most important aspect, I believe, of the taxpayer, which we all should endeavor. Not only the tax administration, but as a tax consultant, expert, we should try to win over the confidence and trust of the taxpayer. Chairman of the Amritsar branch, Shri Sanjay Arora ji, Secretary, Mr. Shashi Pal ji, my, of course, council member, Honorable Shri Pramod Jain ji, and I can see many chairmen of the various branch, Amritsar, Ludhiana, Jalandhar, and the various branches, and our office bearers, and my dear friends, brothers, sisters, and professional colleagues. It's a pleasure for me to be here, part of this webinar, which is on very important aspect, Vivad Se Vishwas. Before I interact and reply on Mr. Rohit Kapoor, some of the issues, let me just tell you all, friends, this is a special scheme which has been brought in by the government in order to get rid of the litigation and the legacy issues. And we must keep in mind that it is not an amnesty scheme. It is a scheme to get rid of the litigation where let the businessman work forward, spend his time on earning more income, and tax administration, looking to the way they have changed its faceless transparency, should spend more time or otherwise getting it bogged down by the past litigation. That's the idea behind this scheme. And some of you may be, I think, already aware, a similar scheme has come under the indirect taxes where the legacy of service tax was to be taken care of, and which scheme remained open for 1 year almost. And looking to that aspect, there was a lot of pressure and persuasion with the present government, present hierarchies, board, everywhere, to please come out with a scheme so that people who have done some mistakes, some past problem issues are coming up, they can just pay the tax and get out of it. And the beauty of this scheme is that it absolves you from all what not to be done and what you have done wrongly. And in that part, just before answering the various questions, I will just run through in 5-10 minutes what are the important aspects, and one should, and thereafter I should take into consideration why these issues are coming up. The government, I see, as and when some scheme comes up, some cutoff and some rationale has to be worked out. So the government came out with a very clear idea, because this was presented on 1st February 2020, because this was a part of the budget speech, but introduced later on 3rd February in the parliament, the act was introduced, or a bill was introduced. Any litigation which is pending on 31st January 2020, which is quantifiable, all those are eligible, as I understand, under the scheme. And there are 3 important aspects to be understood. One is the applicant who can make an application. What is the appellate forum? And third, what is this meaning of disputed tax, etc. Rest is only a procedural part. An applicant is a person which has been defined in this act very clearly, where he has some appeal pending at appellate forum. An appellate forum, by and large, we consider 4 appellate forum normally. One is, first in the hierarchy is CIT appeal. Second is income tax appellate tribunal. Third is High Court, and 4th is Supreme Court. So the first 2 aspects are where appeal is pending as on 31st January 2020. Now, taking into fact that there may be some order which would have been passed in January, December, November, and the time period for filing appeal has not expired. So that it has given an extended meaning where an order has been passed, but the time period for filing appeal has not expired on 31st January 2020. That is a coverage which can be covered. Now, in addition thereto, there was issue that there can be certain other fora where the similar issues, where dispute can be there. One was the DRP. So they thought it fit, yes, where the DRP assessing officer has passed a draft assessment order and the time period for filing objection before DRP has not expired, or the DRP has passed an order and AO has not still passed the final assessment order, then that period has also been extended. That forum has also been allowed. Fifth criteria was that revision petition sometimes is filed. And in that case, it is the 264, the revision petition should be pending as on 31st January 2020. And in revision petition, it has not been said that where the time period for filing revision petition has not expired. And the reason is obvious. A reason for not extending is obvious because a revision petition can be filed within a period of 1 year from the end of. So many people whose assessment order were passed in December 18 and they would not have gone into revision or appeal, they could have pitched in to avoid unnecessary litigation increase. The idea is to get rid of the litigation and not to increase the litigation. So what would have happened? The people would have come here, say settle issue, though even though they would not have any dispute about it because you have accepted the order. By that time, you have not filed a revision petition. So in that case, the condition was very clear. So these are the 5 fora which was worked out. Then looking to the various issues which came up around and where people were coming around, sometimes the issue came up that what happened where the litigation was earlier happening and for one reason or the other reason, whether the tribunal, High Court or Supreme Court has set aside the matter to the AO, then the appeal is not pending before CIT, tribunal, High Court, etc. Why not to cover it? But then the circular, I believe, of 22nd April takes care of and say, all right, even in those cases, we will say, all right, because there was a dispute which has referred back, unless there is a de novo assessment. De novo normally gives a power to the AO to go beyond what he has originally assessed. So say where the specific direction is there, even that can be covered. So these are the broader contours which has been worked out. On that basis, who is the applicant and who can be done. And thereafter, there is a procedural part which has been given. And the 3 things which I believe for the benefit of all my member here, 3 definitions are very important: disputed tax, disputed interest, disputed penalty, and disputed fee. Taking the last disputed fee, there is no dispute about that or not much controversy. It is about 234E, 234D, where this for late filing, TDS and others return is there. It is a separate chapter issue itself. It has nothing to do with anything else. So wherever there is an appeal pending where you are challenging any levy of this fee, you are eligible. Now thereafter, 3 things which you need to keep in mind: disputed tax, disputed interest, and disputed penalty. Disputed tax will take into account where an appeal is pending, you are disputing certain income addition. And in case there is a disputed tax, then obviously disputed interest, that interest and penalty on that part also takes care of. And that's why the scheme also says, and FAQs also say, where there is a dispute on income, you cannot settle interest and penalty independently, but you have to settle that disputed tax and disputed income first. And at the same time, the moment to settle disputed tax, interest and penalty automatically goes out. So wherever there is a dispute on income and there is a tax on that, all you need to do is to settle that and interest and penalty automatically goes. And here a catch comes up. In case you are not agitating any disputed income, interest and penalty in consequent to that, where you are not disputing that income, will not go. So that will not be waived off and you cannot go for that also. That's it. Unless you are independent, because independent, then you cannot challenge it also. So this is the disputed income which we need to take into account. Then there is a disputed interest. There may be cases where you are not challenging income, you are challenging the levy of the interest only. Or such levy of interest is dehorse the income. It has nothing to do with that income. In that case, you can settle that. Of course, the rate is of 25 and 30%, and you tell here. And similarly is a penalty where you are not disputing any income, which is undisputed tax is not there, and you are challenging only the penalty, then you can settle it out. But there are certain other penalties which are not linked to the income, like 271D, 271E, and 271 capital C, etc. There are penalties which can be independently handling on that part of that issue. That's an issue. So these are the category eligible. Having said so, all these people are eligible, but looking to a larger social effect and impact, certain exclusion has also been marked that these category of people will not be eligible for Vivad Se Vishwas. And the reason, as I will explain, are obvious. One is in such cases where the disputed tax is 5 crore or more. That's an issue one. Where in such cases, and such cases is where an assessment has been made under section 153A or 153C, or as we know in the last assessment year, 143.3 or 144 assessment can also be made of the search year. So those people are not covered where disputed tax exceed 5 crore. Now, 3 questions arises on this part. This restriction is assessment year specific. So there are 7 assessment normally of an assessee in a search case. So you can go for those year in which the disputed tax is less than 5 crore rupees. There is no second authority. You can go for penalty in case disputed tax is not there, because that is independent of that in case your income is not being disputed. You have agreed on that part. So this is one part which needs to be taken. And the third controversy which has arisen probably will arise because of this new circular, which I don't think the intention is. The earlier part and the act is very clear, as I understand, that it only says that those people who have been assessed under 153 or 153C. Now I believe the circular says that, the latest circular which has come recently now says that yes, even in those cases where the assessment has been made as a consequence of the search, probably they will also have to pay higher taxes. One is 125%. And secondly, in case the disputed tax is more than 5 crore rupees, then they will not be eligible. I don't think the intention of this circular is so to cover up those cases where even 148 notice or in regular assessment, some document had walked in and on that basis, some addition has been made considering it, but the case is not covered under section 153 or 153C. But this will pose another challenge, a confusion to the taxpayer, which I believe should be taken up with the department. I think we will be all working on this, that this is an area which needs to be written. The second area where this is a assessment year specific, such cases, assessment year specific, those will be carved out. Second area is where then any addition has been made as a being on account of foreign income or undisclosed assets outside. As we all know, HSBC, all those cases were there where the department view is that these should not be covered. So that's why, keeping in mind, I believe this has been kept in our, or where an assessment has been made as a consequence of information received under the exchange of information, maybe under section 90 or 90K, that is also is not covered under these issues. So these cases are what I call specific year-wise assessee cases. But there are certain categories of people which have been totally barred, that they cannot form part of the, they cannot come in the scheme. One is where a prosecution has been instituted, or a person has been convicted of a COFEPOSA, or a person has been convicted of PMLA, Prevention of Corruption Act, etc., narcotics, etc. Those categories, now those people get totally out. It is not assessment year-wise. So these are the exclusions which have been worked out. Scheme, as we all know, is upon up to declaration 31st December 2020. Payment can be made up to 31st March 2021, and thereafter it is additional 10% payment which need to be made on that part. Now, having said so, first my suggestion and request to all my professional colleagues here will be that as I consider as a professional and individually having been working with the department for last more than 40 years, I believe this is one of the best schemes for all taxpayers to get rid of the problem wherever it is. Nothing more than the original tax. And I believe this can be the best bonanza. And where department is litigating and you have won at any one platform, it is just 50%. So it is a cost of buying peace. Maybe you may be right. I don't know, say you are not right, but still it is a cost of buying peace. So idea is that in all those cases where your client is having any litigation at any place, I believe more than 99% cases will get covered under this scheme. What Mr. Rohit Kapoor was talking.
Mr. Jain, one other thing, it's not just the cost of buying peace. it's also the cost of buying certainty.
Yes.
You know, if there is an appeal pending, you never know what's going to happen, when, and how far you'll have to go. I mean, after ITAT, there's High Court, and then there's Supreme Court if the quantums are large. So certainty for a businessman also that leaves you free to carry on with your life and business is important. So that's just one little thing I want to.
Thank you, madam. See, idea is time is very precious. Where do you spend? You spend on your business, you spend on your activities. Litigation otherwise is very costly. Though I have been a counsel and arguing for all litigant, but I know how painful it is, how painful process is. And I can understand, can you imagine when I stand up in the court, standing just by my side or in the court, I can see the shivering going in his head. And I can just share you my experience because madam knows it. In Delhi Tribunal, we have 7-8 courts. If I am arguing in court number 1, and the other gentleman case is going in court number 3, he's always worried whether I will be able to reach within time in the other court or not. Look, the anxiety which the taxpayer has. I can understand. And he's always shaking my hand. No, please pull me out that you go to the other. Otherwise, I will lose my case also. So that is, I say. But look at the scheme, what I say. Nothing can be better than just simple tax. Interest and penalty totally gone. And in case you are agitating interest and penalty, just 25%. What more is required? I believe that's one best part of the scheme, which has come up. And so far the scheme is concerned, absolutely I have no quarrel, etc. I have no object. Only thing is, my points are only, and Madam Sidhu will also agree, the scope should not be restricted, should be widened to the extent possible. And my first point on that part is, we should not only get off the litigation, which is as on date 31st January pending, litigation which is likely to arise in next 1 year or 2 years. And I have been trying to persuade CBT and my other colleague here to pitch that, look, in case I have committed a mistake or there is a dispute going on in 1 year where already a litigation is on, and I am ready to pay out and taxes, why I should not be allowed to get rid of the problem which is down the line in next year, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. And that's why I was always confident that this should be included in the scheme. My tax officer view on that point is, if we do allow this, this will make the amnesty scheme. I have an answer to that. Firstly, there are two already platforms where this is possible. If you go to Income Tax Settlement Commission, your case is open on one ground, and you know that you have a similar problem in subsequent year, you can tag it along and you can argue before them. Second part is that in case we allow future years where the return has been filed, it will become an amnesty scheme. I said no. I can then, madam, I can just give you an example to convince how it can work and why it works. Suppose I will take a reverse example. In assessment year 16-17, I declared my income 10 lakh rupees. Assessing officer has made an addition of 25 lakh rupees of, say, one accommodation entry or anything wrong. And that appeal is pending as on CIT appeal before the CIT-A. Under the scheme, I am entitled to go for this scheme, settle my dispute, and pay tax on 25%, which will, I assume, 30%, 7,50,000 rupees. That matter get over. So that way is not there. Now, suppose after 1 year or 2 years, this declaration, everything being done, some information come to the assessing officer that in that year, there is another entry of 50 lakh rupees which I have taken, which has escaped assessment. I am of the view the assessing officer will be eligible and entitled to reopen the assessment, 147. And then while making my assessment, originally 10 lakh declared, 25 lakh rupees addition, which he has already made 35 lakh rupees, and then 50 lakh rupees income he will further assess. He will assess me at 85 lakh rupees. But at the same time, what he will do, since I have already settled my dispute for 25 lakh rupees, so he will not tax me on 35 lakh rupees. On 50 lakh rupees, he will charge tax, interest, and penalty, whatever is levied. I believe that's a view which will be there, absolutely clear. It cannot happen that once I have settled for one assessment year, department will be debarred from taking action in that year. If new information comes, department will be well within the right to tax it. If that be so, if in assessment year 13-14, I have made a declaration, say I have taken a bogus capital gain or accommodation of 25 lakh rupees, and that is in assessment year, there is a dispute, and I settle it out. But at the same time, I say in 2014-15, I also has taken another 50 lakh rupees. And I am ready to settle this dispute before even you pitch in, before even you come to me in 148.
On the table. Mr. Jain, while appreciating your suggestions for expanding the ambit of the scheme, what we've been focusing on in Amritsar, and now I have requested the officers in Haryana charge also to do the same, is to try to trace the cases where assessments were framed under 144 and they have not filed appeals or are not even aware of the orders having been passed against them. So that is, that is a target pool for VSV, people in whose cases assessments were framed under 144 and they did not file appeals. The FAQs also clarify, of course, they've restricted it to filing of appeals before the date of the circular, but we hope to request them to extend that. The other aspect that we're looking at is the 115 BBE cases, where additions have been made and tax has been charged per section 115 BBE. That's, again, those additions followed an amnesty and they wanted the rate to be on par with the last amnesty. But we've requested that, because of COVID, if, again, this is what Amritsar stakeholders have been telling us, that if the rate there is kind of considered, then there would be a lot more buy-in into the VSV scheme. So for now, these are the two areas that we've been looking at. Going forward, what, the suggestions you're making for expanding the scheme, we are going to have pre-filled returns. So, the information the department has will be reflected in the pre-filled returns, and the taxpayer will know that he needs to incorporate the income from whatever transactions are reflected there because the department is aware of them. So I think going forward, there's going to be a lot more that will happen. But for now, we're looking at about 10 to 15% of pending appeals translating into VSV applications. We need to increase that percentage. It's only 10, 15, maximum of 20%. So how do we increase the number? We've tried to, collect the data, and 115 BBE is one reason where they're not coming forward. The other is the ex parte assessments. So there we have requested that where appeals have been filed, the CIT appeals be requested to take these up on priority so that, if the demand is right-sized, again, that will result in a buy-in into the scheme. And of course, the third aspect is the ex parte cases where appeals hadn't been filed. We're trying to trace them and convince them to file an appeal, not only because of VSV, but because we don't want to end up imposing penalties in March. So these are our major concerns. I also want to take this opportunity to say that we would be monitoring the top cases, of course, but we really want your support in locating the persons who are, the 144 cases where appeals haven't been filed. There we really need your help, and I hope that, you'll spread the word in Haryana charge as well. Amritsar, of course, we're receiving a lot of support. What do you feel, Mr. Jain? Don't you think that these are areas that require?
Very, very good idea, madam. I fully appreciate, and I think after hearing you, I can appreciate the way an income tax officer is thinking about how to make the scheme successful. This is one of the best idea, that where 144 order has been passed, obviously presumption is that those order would not have been served also on the assessee. And assessee can, as on date, can apply for a duplicate copy of the certified copy of the order. File an
Jain Sahab, the order has been served online. Ye mat kahiyega.
Many cases, I will say, you see, 144 is normally in many cases, it is being served at why 144 happened by and large, as my impression is, that 143.2 was at a wrong place or some address has changed, shifted the place. Online also, in case response has not been received, probably email was not correct, something like this. So that will also help, I believe, because idea is to get rid of the demand and the litigation. That's a basic, I believe I'm getting it. On 115BB, frankly, I'm not very hopeful, frankly, to get the tax rate reduced from 60 to 30%, because it's a pet subject of the government of the day, I believe. So probably assessment year 17, 18 is a pain which will have to carry forward. I have tried my best with the CBDT. I met member TPL, I met member legal also, and tried to convince on that issue. I said that when you are waiving penalty, 60% tax rate inbuilt has 30% tax and 30% penalty. And in your scheme, you are waiving off penalty. So why don't you, under 115BB, gives this rate? And I gave a rough estimate also, madam. I believe you must be having more accurate data, I will say.
We are collecting it.
If not more, I am of the view at least 1 lakh crore rupees of addition has been made under this 115BB across India, where people have deposited cash, etc., 1 lakh crore rupees. And these people, by paying 78% is required today in case they opt for this scheme under this present, 60% plus 25% surcharge and plus then 4% like this, 78%. So 78.
And there's we also levy a penalty, no? That's another 10%.
Penalty is not levied as on date, but in case I go for scheme today, so I need to pay 78% of this addition.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have suggested it, please bring it down to 39, because then it's 30%. Plus normal surcharge, it will 36%. And the government will get rid of 1 lakh appeals. Yeah. Government will collect 36,000 crore rupees of revenue, and it will be a win-win situation. I do agree, and my one impression, not as an IRS officer, I'm posing to you. See what happened when cash, irrespective of what we professionals argue before the court, etc. What has happened is the tax which has been deposited by the gentleman or taxpayer or a trader is not entirely the black money. On 8 November 9, it was a musical chair. He was caught at 8 o'clock in the night. The cash was in his hand. I can give you an example. He's a trader. He buys material in cash, sells material in cash. So in the morning, he bought material from somebody that he will make sale and make payment in the evening. During the day, he made a sale of 2 lakh rupees. By 7:30, the supplier was to come and collect that 2 lakh rupees out of 1 lakh profit of 10,000, 1,80,000 rupees. Somehow the supplier said, no, it is raining or it is not, I am not coming. And by 8 o'clock, the 2 lakh rupees sale, which he had made because of the musical chair, now it is in his hand, it has become a black money. I do not want to go into merit on that.
So Mr. Jain, we can't expect to have a lower rate?
No, I don't think I have tried my best on that part.
There is a new,
I did my best to convince the Honorable Madam also.
No, there is a new member now.
I know. Now I think we can. Only thing is she will have to get a clearance from PM.
I hope Advocate Arora Saab is there. He's sitting on a stockpile of about 1,000 cases and he isn't filing VSV, waiting for a lower rate. So I hope he files all the applications.
Madam, my office is flooded with appeal before the CIT on this issue. My office is flooded. Yeah, please, Pramod, yes, please.
Jain Sahab, agar madam keh rahi hain कि she would be trying, and if the tax would be lower, then we are very happy now if she is able to.
No. That is not.
We have to work together on that part.
No, that is not what I said. No. So let me please reiterate. I think that is absolutely a misunderstanding. What I said was, these are the issues that you see, the board has been very proactively asking us as officers in the field to give our suggestions and our inputs, and also responding by way of FAQs to whatever clarifications we have sought. Like we asked that, this is covered in the definition of appellant, and yet people are not clear if they did not file an appeal by 31st of January, then are they eligible? They've cleared it in the FAQs. Now, these are the three issues that we have flagged to them. One, we are be getting lists of 144 cases where appeals haven't been filed, and my officers are working hard to trace and find those persons and get them to file an appeal. I'm just sharing with you. Secondly, we have flagged this issue of a higher rate. You know, you all must be familiar with Arora Saab. He's, you know, our Santa Claus in Amritsar. So, you know, he's always saying, Madam, a rate kata deo, main thwanu hajara application launga. So that's why I was asking you that has the board not agreed with this? So it's a feedback we have given. I'm in no position. I'm too small, you know, a person to be able to get any sort of change done. But you know, the feedback we have definitely given, that 115 BBE, if they bring down the rate, there'll be greater buy-in. We've been told, we spoke to our principal chief commissioner also, Madam Sunita Puri. She said, Poonam, get the data collected. And I'm getting the data collected both from Amritsar charge and from Haryana charge. And we'll, you know, through her, we will put up the data to the CBDT, because it's easier for them to take a call if they know statistics and, you know, quantum involved. So number of cases, quantum involved, we're trying to collect that. We're not aware of what decision the board will take. Our job is just to provide feedback and to, you know, compile and convey what we believe is, you know, the taxpayers' kind of, the taxpayers' requirement to get more buy-in into the scheme.
I may just add, Madam, I can give you another third idea, which I was just trying to give you an example. At least 25,000 crore rupees to 50,000 crore rupees of taxes, and voluntarily coming up in the revenue, and not without any litigation. I was just giving an example. I have taken a bogus capital gain or a accommodation entry in the year 12-13, which assessment was reopened and assessment has been made. I am ready to settle. I can settle into the scheme. But I know that similar entries are appearing in 13-14, 14-15. And I hope you are aware, this bogus capital gain Pandara box was opened somewhere first time in the 2014, when I believe one of the gentlemen from Chandigarh was searched, and then they came out that he has taken 600 crore rupees or entries, etc. That was the issue. And thereafter, the department got a sense, and SEBI was after there.
No, that's definitely a good idea. That, you know,
Madam, I will just give an example how it can work, because we need to convince how the logic plays. It will not be an amnesty scheme. The taxpayer will be required that in case he has taken in 12-13 and there is a subsequent entry, exact assessment year, exact amount, and the person, what is the transaction in the declaration form. And he will pay the tax and get rid of. In case subsequently some more information comes, his advantage will be to the extent what exact information is provided, not beyond that. What will happen, my view is, even if we issue 148 notice, firstly, enforcement mechanism, howsoever strong it may be, is not able to capture more than 20-25% data, 70-75% data, somehow one or the reason doesn't get captured. Even in 25% cases, the assessing officer is not in a position to make out an assessment and get hold of the people and to bring those people. As you know, 144, all those types. Even in 10% cases where assessment is made, we get hold of the people. Recovery after 6-7 years may be too small. People may not be available, etc. But by doing voluntarily, I am of the view that in case 100 people have defaulted, at least 25-30 will walk in voluntarily. We want to buy peace. We do want to do a litigation. We are ready to pay tax and get out of it. So that will be the best part, and which can be taken care of.
No, it's a very good idea, Mr. Jain, and I'm also going to include it in my feedback. आप भी जाके मिलें और बातचीत करें.
I will do my best. I will do my best on that part. I will be touching all my colleagues with whom I am in contact. And the fourth part, which is an administrative part, the FAQs allow where you have a substantive and protective addition to be adjusted against each other. Well, you pay tax on substantive, got out. But it does not take care of where same addition, substantive in two hands. In the hand of the company, in the hand of the director.
We have cases like that in Amritsar as well.
I believe in Delhi charge, these are being handled administratively by each CCIT and CIT, as I understand, with a feedback came to me. They are willing that in case you are same share capital, same amount has been added here, even substantive addition in the other can be handled out.
Yeah, I think the designated authority can take a call without any FAQs.
But I believe in case FAQ comes, that will be good. I believe people will walk in. Otherwise,
we'll put it in.
Then there are certain issues.
Quite quick.
Yeah, there are certain issues which have come up now in the FAQ, which is a contradictory one, which you would have noticed. The law, if you see, clearly says that where enhancement notice has been issued, the Act provides that it has to be before the cutoff date, 31st January 2020. That is a part of the Vivad Se Vishwas Act. If you look at section 2J, where disputed tax has been stated, so they say disputed income will include those announcement income where announcement notice has been issued before 31st January 2020. Now in the new FAQ which has come up, the date has been further changed before the issue of this circular. That means 4th December 2020. I believe that is not in the line with the this statutory provision. It has to be 31st January. Another administrative issue which you probably may handle at your level will be good. Now, appeal before the CITA and tribunal are not required to be withdrawn. Because section 541 itself says the moment the certificate is issued under 5.1, that is form 3 is issued, it is deemed to have been withdrawn.
No, that's okay. I made a note of it, but there's a circular that has been issued by the CBDT advising the the CIT appeals to take up on priority the cases where VSV has been filed by the taxpayer. They've just issued a circular. If
you can just take a look at, because this is administrative issue which can be handled.
I've got that. No, I think we'll bring it to the notice of the thing. Thank you so much. I'm going to take leave. I have a little personal function to attend to. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to interact with you all and to hear such learned speakers. Very grateful, and I look forward to your support. Mr. Jain, you have to support us. Are you appearing in Gurgaon and Faridabad or not? Only Delhi?
Yes, I will be.
Please,
I'm all for this scheme.
Yeah.
No second thought about this scheme.
I was thinking we should have a VSV Mela in Gurgaon, Faridabad.
It will be. No issue that is all.
And let's get the big four on board also, and see if we can motivate more people to file more applications before 31st December. Thank you very much. I'll take leave. Thank you. Arora Saab, my apologies. I need to go somewhere. My daughter-in-law is here waiting for me. So,
Hello,
nice to I'll take leave. Thank you so much.
Please. Thank you. Please. Sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry. No. Thank you.
Continuing I believe the discussion further, let me just answer a few of the questions which I believe Rohit has raised. And the first question was on section 68, I believe. Rohit is not there. I think after question he has gone out. I am frankly of the contrary view. In section 68, once you pay taxes, credit cannot be allowed. The scheme and the act is very clear. Nobody is changing the position. Goalpost is not being changed by making the same. We are getting rid of the problem. Meaning thereby, it does not mean that whether you were correct or I were correct. This is the question. The moment you credit the amount as your capital account, department, it means that the department was correct and you say, all right, that is not the possible. Both position continues to be the same. That means you say that it is a loan and the income tax department say it is your income. So both continues in the same board. So section 68 is the right interpretation according to me in the circular, and we should not expect a little bit more on that part. When we say, yes, please.
I have got one query also regarding this.
I will just come to that. Give me just a few minutes on to clarify, because Pramod is also there. He has to speak on that issue. Then the issue was Income Tax Settlement Commission additional ground. Why additional ground up to 31st January 2020? As I said, in scheme, there has to be some inbuilt checks so scheme is not misused. That is why, as I said, when 264 is there, it does not say whether the time period for 264 has expired, has not expired. It only said 264 has been filed. So a scheme has been made in order to address that people do not misuse the scheme. Similarly, when we talk of additional ground, it clearly says that 31st January 2020, you have filed additional ground, we are welcome, we will take it on board. But thereafter, we will not allow. But otherwise, what will happen, even on those grounds which you have ceded, you have conceded that it is not eligible and you are at, there is no dispute. Now, since your appeal is pending, you can always come with additional ground. Because last stage additional ground can be filed at any time before the appeal is disposed of. So that is why there is a specific exclusion that no additional ground should be filed before that. Even on the cross objection, there is point. Now the last clarification says where a cross objection has been filed before 31st January 2020, that will be eligible because it has become good as you appeal. But in other cases, cross objection will not be considered. That is also a very contentious issue, because one get a right to file a cross objection only after receiving an intimation that the other party has filed an appeal. That period is available. So that way also is not there. And then there was a when writ petition is there. I believe the idea is Income Tax Settlement Commission is a separate, I believe it's a channel. So they don't want to bring it here on that part. Where order has been stayed, I believe that's the right idea, because an assessing officer has passed an order. And where High Court and Supreme Court has given a stay that this order will not be implemented because you are in litigating this. Now, if you want to get rid of, you pay the tax which the assessing officer has passed an order, and all withdraw your appeal. That all. I don't think there is any challenge to that part on that part. And 143(1) in any case, I believe has been allowed. I think only thing is that utility need to be, I think, corrected. In FAQ, they say you just show that appeal is pending for CIT appeal in set-aside cases. But I am of the view, why not they improve the utility and make an addition that where the matter has been set aside on specific ground, there should be separate window, a drop-down window where the issue can be come up. Friend, there are other issues which are coming up on the various FAQ, etc. But looking to the time constraint, we have already spent, I think, almost 1 hour, 15 minutes on this agenda. Let Pramodji speak out, and then thereafter we can take questions.
Sir, please give me reply for one question, simple. But bogus purchases added to the income, and now VSV filed and allowed also. So whether this creditor should be, it is not under section 68, otherwise bogus purchases added to the income of the assessee. So what should be done for the creditor now standing in the books of accounts?
This scheme does not give any answer to your question.
So what should be done? Accounting. What should be the accounting treatment?
You should pay the check out. You cannot credit that amount in your income, your capital account.
It will stand as such.
Anna ji, I will explain you that this scheme is not an amnesty scheme. This says in this year, this dispute is over, you have paid with the tax.
Yes.
Leaving it to your wisdom, how you will settle the entry in that year or subsequent year. And department and you both will have right to contest and litigate on that issue.
Jansep, can I ask you one query? It's a small query. So this on section 68 itself, sir, as you rightly said, that scheme doesn't say anything whether I can get them. Now, what will happen with that amount? I have paid the tax. Now I have paid the tax, and department also knows I have paid, and then that means it is not payable, or the share capital does not belong to any third party. It belongs to me only. Now, ultimately, it cannot go on in infinity like this. What will happen to these transactions? Because this is a very important issue. I think the board should come out with the clarification that
the board has come out with a clarification. No.
Rather, board
Kaliaji, you want the board should come in, with a clarification in favor that you can credit it to the capital account.
Board should revise its stance.
I would say. No, sir. I may say with the due apology, it cannot happen because this scheme is very clear that both side position continues to be the same. Nobody can change the goalpost.
You will
continue to say it was a genuine purchase, and department it is a bogus purchase.
No,
Only thing is we are burying this dispute without deciding by paying taxes.
जैन साहब,
हाँ प्रमोद जी,
काला साहब और जीवन खन्ना जी, जैन साहब को मैं एक क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ. The assessee has made the bogus purchases. The same was
even I have a question to ask.
हाँ, एक मिनट जैन साहब, मेरे को भी पूछने दो एक क्वेश्चन जैन साहब से.
बिल्कुल.
So the assessing officer has disallowed it. So I have gone into the appeal, and thereafter I have gone for those VSVS. So the basic thing is that my expenditure has been disallowed. Now in the current year, my creditors, I write it off to my profit loss. Will there be an income under section 41 for the expenditure which has not been allowed?
I will say it will be a very contentious issue because that position of the both sides continues to be the same.
Agreed. So that expenditure has not been allowed to me.
And one of the way can be that I write back that this amount is no more payable.
Yes.
41.1.
Yeah.
And now it will be very difficult for you to argue that this deduction I have not claimed.
No.
But it has not been allowed. It has not been allowed. So once it has not been allowed, then why double taxation?
No. I'm coming back to this question. By going into the scheme, the position of both the party continues to be the same.
Same. Agreed.
Both party continues to be the same.
So that means they have not allowed it, and we have not. They have not allowed the expense.
To me, only that can be added back under section 41. Na?
I agree. But the question that will be decided on this fact is whether which side is it, because as I say, it is a contentious issue. What will happen in litigation on that point, that will be a contentious issue. Whether this can be allowed, considered as a deduction, allowed or not allowed as a deduction. As per your individual stand, you have claimed a deduction.
No. The section says
but the department has not allowed it.
I know.
I have paid.
I know that is the issue that where a deduction was claimed and was allowed. That's an issue where will be contentious issue to be argued.
The question would be different in case of capital, loan, and expenditure. It could be different.
Share capital. In that case, there is no escape because these issues are not new. Even in earlier time when people have paid taxes, they used to say, now I will credit. I said, the moment you credit, a prosecution penalty will be guaranteed.
Benami law also.
Then you're in trouble on that issues.
Benami law also would get attracted.
Even in these cases, Benami law can be invoked.
Yes.
Bogus purchases that you are showing amount payable, which is no, a person is not traceable. And I think, let me...
No, sir, here I will take a call that I had made a purchase from you, but it has been held to be bogus and I have paid tax on that. I will not pay to you now.
Yes. Matter. All right. Let's continue. Then nothing can happen.
Yes.
Pardon, please repeat. Sir, please repeat.
Sir, Jeevan sir is asking to repeat your stand.
नहीं sir, देखो जीवन साहब बात यह है कि देखो it is of course litigative, of course, but then if it is related to an expenditure, I bought something, some purchases from someone, and that was disallowed, told to be bogus. I tell to my supplier that I have purchased from you, but what you have supplied me the documents are there is a litigation out of that on which I have paid taxes. So I'll not pay back to you. No, I cannot say at any time that the goods were not supplied to me. What Jain Sahab said was very right, that I cannot say it was bogus. I'll say it was genuine. It was genuine.
It will stand in the books of accounts.
Sir, it will stand then if you say I am not paying to you.
Okay, it's not being paid to them. It will stand as such.
So then you will write off in your books.
How?
Sir, when?
Sir, write off in your books. Normal accounting entry.
Normal accounting entry to capital
account. That's what it's saying.
Accounting standards.
Sir, in the year I will write it back. Pramod sir, in the year I will write it back. As Ved sir told, again the department will take it into 41(1).
नहीं सर, डिपार्टमेंट को वही तो लिटिगेशन आएगा। मैं कहूँगा 41(1)
हाँ,
में
लिटिगेशन उस साल में आएगा ना सर, उस साल में लिटिगेशन आएगा।
भवेश भाई, लिटिगेशन तभी तो है। जैन साहब का कहना गलत नहीं है, सही है, बट मेरे को कंटेक्ट करना पड़ेगा भाई, आपने मेरे को उसको अलाउ कब किया?
जैन साहब we got a fight।
नया विवाद क्रिएट होगा।
स्कीम में ये नहीं है सर, स्कीम में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। जैन साहब का कहना बिल्कुल सही है, आप स्कीम का रेफरेंस नहीं दे सकते।
नहीं, 90% ऑफ द केसेस विल बी लाइक दिस।
अरे खन्ना साहब, आप चीजों को समझो। जो सर्कुलर आया है बिल्कुल सही आया है,
वो तो पढ़ लिया।
खन्ना जी, लेट मी शेयर इट। 90% केसेस ऐसे होंगे तो 90% केसेस में समस्या भी नहीं आएगी, सब लोग अपना जुगाड़ निकाल के ले जाएंगे।
नहीं,
बहुत सारी बातों का जवाब लीगल नहीं होता है, बहुत सारी बातों का जवाब समझदारी से निकलता है।
समझदारी
तो हम एज ए प्रोफेशन निकाल लेते हैं और आप भी निकाल लेंगे।
सर पुराने विवादों का सेटलमेंट है, अगले विवाद तो बाद में।
मैं एक बात पूछता हूँ अभी आपसे, जितने भी लोग बोगसली शेयर कैपिटल सरेंडर कर दिया, इनकम टैक्स के रिटर्न में शामिल कर दिया, सेटलमेंट में जाकर टैक्स इंटरेस्ट सब कुछ दे दिया, और फिर कंपनी एक्ट में कैसे अपने नाम शेयर ट्रांसफर करते हो?
पहले तो गिफ्ट हो जाता था ना सर।
तो कंपनी एक्ट में अलॉटमेंट हुई है, फॉर्म 2 भरा हुआ है, कैसे करते हैं? सब जुगाड़ बढ़ा के करते हैं।
एग्जैक्टली।
कंपनी एक्ट तो डज नॉट परमिट, वो तो उसके नाम शेयर अलॉटेड है। Anyhow, Pramod ji, I think you should take it over and start your deliberation, I think. And then we can have, time permitting, some question more.
No, sir. Let us take question answers only. I have no deliberation. My deliberation only was to hear you, sir.
No, sir. Pramod ji, I think you just speak for 5-10 minutes and we can take. I think that will be a good idea. You explain.
Okay.
Sir, can I ask one question?
हाँ, बोलो sir. Question बोलो.
My request will be, my request to all colleagues will be, let me hear Pramod ji for 5-10 minutes and then we take a question, I think. Let's say whatever his views, some addition he will make to the act rule, whatever it is, and circular, whatever issues are there.
Okay.
Pramod sir, you take up the matters which you think are important, then other members will automatically get into this thing. You first take up some points that you must be having in your mind regarding this scheme after hearing Ved sir and other CCIT ma'am.
ठीक है भवेश सर. Honorable past President Ved Jain ji, Chairman of Amritsar branch Sanjay Arora ji, and the whole managing committee, Iqbal Grover ji, Shashipal ji, Bhavesh Mahajan ji, Jatinder Vansil ji, and a lot of chairmen of other branches. Ashish Jain ji ने भी join किया, जो मेरे को अभी नजर आ रहे हैं. विशाल गर्ग जी थे, अश्विनी जिंदल जी थे, दलदीप मरवा जी हमारे अमृतसर से, जगपत जैन जी भी दिल्ली से हैं, गौरव गुप्ता जी, सभी लोग हैं. You know, this of course very rightly said by Ved Jain sir that this is a scheme wherever possible we should advise our client to go into that. But few things which came to my mind recently was that in one of the cases, one of the members shared that in one of the cases, the form which was filed, Form 2, it was rejected without giving any reason. Now he is very surprised that why it is rejected. And if what ma'am said, Poonam Sidhu ji, that they are suggesting to the government that 144 be allowed, but that would be process because it will take time of at least a month or more, because finding that person, then he will file that appeal, then the delayed condonation of the delay would be given, and thereafter he can go for VSVS. So it cannot be done within 20 days. So if I feel that it is going to be extended from 31st December to say another 1 month, and 31st December is to be given, you know, when I was taking one of the sessions in the earlier Vivad Se Vishwas in the initial months, so there were questions came, sir, अब हम फाइल कर दें क्या अपील? तो हमने कहा भाई, हमने सजेस्ट किया, you never know what the government is going to do. You file the appeal with the condonation of delay. You file the appeal with the condonation of delay, and today, thank God, what the FAQ has said, that yes, any application made up to 31st January with the condonation, if it is condoned, then that can be taken into VSVS. So all those cases, I'll request members who have filed it delayed, get the appeal condoned from the CIT appeal and then go for VSVS. So that would be very fine. So rejection was a thing which came few days back to me when one of the members said that the application was rejected. I was very surprised. I really wanted him to go and find out because there was no reason given. So if the applications are rejected, so it would be a huge problem. It would be a huge problem. Let us see. One more issue which few of the members have been continuously suggesting us, and we have also given it from the Direct Tax Committee. This 115 BBE and others, they have also been sent to the Direct Tax Committee to the CBDT on more than one occasion. Is that in case where the assessee has won at the ITAT level and department as on date has not gone to High Court, the assessee says we are of an apprehension that the department may go to the High Court with the condonation of delay. So please allow us. So please allow us to file for this scheme. Currently, the demand is nil in their case. But they are saying we are ready to buy peace. Peace is already, the case is in their favor. But they're saying they have an apprehension that there may be certain cases where the department with the delay in condonation may file an appeal later on. That also we have tried to cover. We have sent that request to the CBDT, but currently not covered. I don't think so that they have an interest, because when Honorable Finance Minister also came to the institute, so I was there at that time also. We requested that these cases be allowed. What Vaidyan sir said, that also was stated, and there they said no. If that would
Modi, you got muted. Unmute yourself, please. You got unmuted.
Shashi. Anji. So let's hope if what Vaidyan sir said, that institute is also going, Vaidyan personally is also going. If the department also says and if the CBDT agrees, then it could really be very, very beneficial to all. Time is less. I'll request that we should take the questions of the members. As many questions as we can take, that would be very beneficial. The session could be very useful that way. Thank you.
Pramod, just to add to what you have said, where their appeal has not been filed or still not filed, I will request all my colleagues, they must file the appeal immediately, even now with their condonation. Yes. There is every possibility that this scheme may run into another year 2021, and this type of circular may come back again in the next time, if that appeal filed till date with condonation. And then, madam, and I must compliment, I believe, all of your reason, Amritsar, Ludhiana, Jalandhar, with the madam like Poonam Sidhu being at the helm of the affair, and the way she's quite positive about the taxpayer, things are looking to be good. And you can get a lot of things done by using the authority of the designated authority which is given at us. She can handle many administrative issues that way positively on that part. Yes, we can now take question and answer.
Jansa, one question which we were discussing before you came was regarding what you have already covered. That regarding that in the act itself, it says that in case the appeal is pending before the CIT appeal and ITAT, the moment you file, it will be deemed to be withdrawn. But currently the form, the form, they have not changed. If we see the form itself, if I read the form's first language, option exercised by the applicant, it says whether opting to pay tax on reduction of losses or depreciation or MAT credit. If yes, go to the relevant schedule under A. If no, fill up schedule D, and schedule D is for losses only.
Actually, the wording.
Pramodji, my quick reaction on that part is, since madam is not here, I believe, on that part. Frankly speaking, looking to the drafting of this act, rule, and the FAQs, I do get some impression left hand does not know what the right hand is doing. I believe the person who drafted this second circular, and this question where he say that in case an enhancement notice has been issued before the date of the issue circular, that will be valid. He did not have the occasion to look at the act itself, 2J proviso. If I can read it out, it clearly says specified date and specified date is 31st January 2020, and nobody can have a second thought about that one. When I look at, and if you will recall, this circular was issued first time in 12th March, even before the act was passed as a draft circular. Then a circular was issued on 7th April. Even in 7th April, 4 mistakes were pointed out. What they are doing it. And I'm surprised the circular has passed through all drafting people, because there is a legal department who passes through. Answer to question number 1 says where the matter has been set aside and the person can fill the utility that appeal is pending before commission appeal. I'm surprised, but is it an administration? All you have to tell your utility people in DG system, please put one more line whether the appeal has been set aside. Why the person should make a wrong declaration that appeal is pending said? You are asking me to sign that form. The particular stated here, is it true and correct? Am I supposed to fill in this form? When I look at TDS provision, the way it has been drafted, I just look at the new circular and the old circular for benefit of my all friends. On TDS, there can be 3 disputes: deductor and the 40AI. I am a deductor. I failed to deduct TDS, so there can be a proceeding against me under section 201, interest 201A. There can be. Since I have failed to deduct TDS, the amount can be disallowed under section 40AI in the case of a resident. And you will all agree, in case I have made a payment to a contractor of 1 crore rupees, on which TDS is to be deducted at 2%, 2 lakh rupees. My default is 2 lakh rupees. My disallowance in income will be 1 crore rupees, where I will be required to pay 36 lakh rupees. Now, as per this circular, this says, in case there is an appeal against the TDS default and you settle that appeal, meaning thereby 201 there is a default, I have failed to deduct 2 lakh rupees. I deposit this 2 lakh rupees, settle my dispute. My addition under section 40AI will get deleted. 40IA will get deleted. So I will get a benefit of 36 lakh rupees. Deductive will be required to pay tax interest on that part, nothing part. On the contrary, now it says, in case you settle your 40IA, then you need to pay 36 lakh rupees. Now, in 90% of cases, I believe there is no appeal pending on TDS. Because by and large, TDS proceedings are not taken up for default. Appeals are by and large pending on 40IA. And in case there is no appeal pending in 201, I have no option but to settle in it under section 40IA, 36 lakh I need to pay. I could not make it out. What is, and then they say, deductive will be required to pay interest. Your scheme says interest is waived off. So now what you are doing, giving from left hand, taking it out from the right hand. So that way, I believe there are challenges which are coming up on that. Yes, we can.
For the deductor.
My one question is, hello.
Please
My one question.
Please go ahead.
And question number 56 of CBDT circular, which says that the tax to be paid even if the appeal is settled, if order is passed after 31st January by the forum, then tax to be paid on the basis of the demand as per the appeal pending on 1st January or 31st January. My question, where I will file, मतलब मेरे को फॉर्म में कहाँ पे ये सब दिखाना होगा, कैसे करना होगा?
Pramod, please answer. I believe that question. I think it is more an administrative issue rather than any legal issue. You are mute, Pramod ji.
आंसर म्यूट कर लो. एक बार दोबारा बताएं आपका क्वेश्चन क्या है?
क्वेश्चन नंबर 56 है, जो सीबीटी का है, जो मतलब स्पेसिफाई करता है कि अगर हमारे को अपील पेंडिंग थी 31 जनवरी को, उसके बाद आपका अपीलेट ने ऑर्डर कर दिया, जो भी फोरम थी उसने ऑर्डर कर दिया, उसके बाद भी आप विवाद से विश्वास में फाइल कर सकते हैं.
ठीक है.
उसमें उन्होंने कहा कि जो टैक्स पे करना होगा, जो आपका 31 जनवरी को जिसके पास अपील पेंडिंग थी उसके हिसाब से आपको पे करना है।
राइट,
ये तो सब ठीक है। बाकी जो फॉर्म के अंदर जो है मेरे को क्या लिखना होगा कि अभी अपील किसके पास पेंडिंग है?
आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा कि अपील एज ऑन 31 जनवरी इज पेंडिंग विद ITAT।
ITAT
और आपको ITAT लिखना पड़ेगा और ITAT का अपील नंबर और आपकी अपील फाइलिंग की डेट लिखना पड़ेगा, उसी का डिस्प्यूटेड अमाउंट देना पड़ेगा।
और ITAT का ऑर्डर चाहे बाद में उसका कहीं रेफरेंस देने की
कोई नहीं, कोई जरूरत नहीं, कोई जरूरत नहीं।
Let me clarify and support what Pramod ji is saying. The form is sacrosanct with 31st January 2020.
हाँ जी।
लक्ष्मण रेखा है 31 जनवरी 2020 बस।
हाँ जी।
उस तारीख को पेंडिंग था तो आप करिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
अच्छा, चाहे अपील में हमने खुद पार्टिसिपेट किया हो बाद में, उससे भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है ना?
कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता,
अपना पार्टिसिपेट कर लो। लगभग अगर 31 दिसंबर से पहले जीत जाए तो भूल जाना, नहीं जीतो तो भर देना फॉर्म को।
अच्छा,
बिल्कुल सही है, बिल्कुल सही है।
और सेकंड
क्वेश्चन।
हाँ जी संजय जी।
Sir, I have already filed 3 forms for this scheme. Form 1 and 2 I have already filed, but I'm not getting the approvals. So what do I do?
आ जाएगी, डिपार्टमेंट में देर है अंधेर नहीं है। ऐसा है कि मैडम से मैं पूछने मैं चाह रहा था कि एक्ट में लिखते क्यों है 15 दिन का पीरियड जो एडहियर नहीं हो सकता। मैं एक्ट में लिखूंगा कि 15 दिन में फॉर्म 3 आ जाएगा।
और सर मैडम से मेरी 2 दिन पहले बात हुई है, वो कहते हैं 18 तारीख तक क्लियर कर देंगे सारे।
May I intervene in this? In September.
Excuse me.
I have filed, these forms in September.
अरे सर मई वाले पेंडिंग है, मई वाले पेंडिंग, आप सितंबर की बात कर रहे हैं।
प्रमोद जी, we welcome अपना CIT देवेंद्र सिंह जी चौधरी जी, PCIT. Just join now.
In this case, I would request you to meet your PCIT. Very few Form 3s pending are left behind. All Form 4s have normally been issued. Form 5 have been issued on Form 4. There are 2 types of Form 3s which are pending now. One, where clarification that's been sought from the assessees because the tax figure as by the AO and the tax calculated by the assessee do not match. And secondly, the AO's figure, some cases where the AO's figures itself are not right. These cases have been sent back to the AO.
आज की डेट में मेरा ऐसा मानना है, डिपार्टमेंट का एटीट्यूड है कि फॉर्म 1 और 2 रिजेक्ट नहीं किए जाएंगे। जो उन्होंने कहा है प्रमोद जी ने, वो एक एक्सेप्शन लग रही है। FAQ का जो लास्ट क्वेश्चन है उसमें फॉर्म रिवाइज करने का भी ऑप्शन दे दिया गया है।
सर रिजेक्ट करने के बाद रिवाइज कैसे होगा?
जो डिले आ रहा है वो जो अभी ये देवेंद्र जी कह रहे हैं वो बिल्कुल ठीक यही क्या है। इशू क्या है कि AO को उसको आपने जो इन्फॉर्मेशन दी है उसको वेरीफाई करना होता है। वो इन्फॉर्मेशन वेरीफाई नहीं होती तो वो आपको ढूंढता है, आ जाओ, जैसे वो ढूंढता है ना स्क्रूटनी असेसमेंट आके करा लो, तो वैसे आपको ढूंढ रहा है, आप जाओ और करा कर लिया अपना फॉर्म 3 बना के वहां मिल जाएगा, आ जाएगा।
नहीं सर, इसमें एक इशू और आ रहा है। हमारे जलंधर में जितने पेंडिंग थे ना, ड्यू टू ट्रांसफर ऑफ पैन थे, तो अभी ज्यूरिसडिक्शन ऑर्डर, मैडम से बात हुई थी 2-3 दिन पहले मेरी, वो कहते हैं ज्यूरिसडिक्शन ऑर्डर वही है पास्ड एंड विल बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड।
दफ्तर में जाके पिया वहां पे जाके क्या बिल करते हैं
एंड वो 18 तारीख तक कह रहे हैं सब क्लियर कर देंगे।
हाँ, सबके हो जाएंगे क्लियर, कोई इशू नहीं है, मुझे नहीं लगता कोई चैलेंज है। लेकिन मेरा सजेशन सभी को ये है कि दिस इज आई सिंसियरली बिलीव दैट दिस इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट स्कीम। जहां भी 1% भी डाउट लगता है तो एसएससी को कहो यार तेरा सामर्थ्य है तो निकल जाए हमसे। भाई एसएससी में पैसे नहीं है तो क्या करेगा, ना डिपार्टमेंट उसे रिकवर कर सकता ना वो दे सकता। तेरा सब है तो निकल जाए रास्ता निकाल के।
जैसे one more issue, suppose I filed form number 1 and 2, but I don't get form 3 by 31st
March.
December.
नहीं सर, मार्च तक का टाइम आपके पास।
नहीं, मार्च तक तो पेमेंट का टाइम है ना।
हाँ तो सर आपको जनवरी में मिलता है, क्या दिक्कत
है? I filed the application, but I don't get form 3 by 31st December.
अगर रात को 31 दिसंबर की रात को 11:30 बजे अपलोड करेंगे तो फॉर्म 3 कैसे आएगा? आएगा ही नहीं, वो तो आने दो, अगले साल ही आएगा।
अगले साल उसमें this what I want to ask you, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं आएगी?
नहीं आएगी।
एक मिनट, एक भैया जी,
सर मेरा एक इशू है।
I will go to that extent. आप फॉर्म 1 और 2 फाइल कर दो। अगर आखिरी दिनों में नहीं भी ढंग से ठीक भरता तो जो भी भर देंगे वो हो जाएगा, और AO बुला के उसे करेक्ट करा के आपको फॉर्म 3 बाद में इशू कर दे।
उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ना।
ठीक है, प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच। फॉर्म डाल दो, आ जाए।
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है। हेलो।
हाँ जी सर।
सर मैंने फॉर्म नंबर 1 and 2 फाइल कर दिया and I have received form number 3 from the department. The tax calculated by the department is more than the tax calculated by me. What is now how to correct it?
मैं समझा नहीं, मुझे क्वेश्चन क्लियर नहीं।
जो फॉर्म नंबर 3 डिपार्टमेंट से मेरे पास आया है उसमें टैक्स कैलकुलेशन जो दिखाई है उन्होंने मोर पे विद हैव
यू गॉट द फॉर्म 3?
भाई आप एक मिनट सुन लीजिए,
फॉर्म 3 मेरे पास आ गया है।
एक सुन तो लीजिए साहब, आई गॉट योर क्वेश्चन। FAQ में डिपार्टमेंट को रेक्टिफिकेशन का राइट दिया हुआ है। अगर आपको लगता है फॉर्म 3 में आपका कुछ गलती आ रही है तो ये उससे जाके मिलके वहां मिलके डेजिग्नेटेड अथॉरिटी से उससे करेक्ट करा लो।
ओके ठीक है।
नहीं वैसे भी wherever the department doesn't agree with the disputed demand, they offer and they give an opportunity to the assessee to explain.
No, opportunity उन्होंने नहीं दी, उन्होंने सीधा फॉर्म 3 कर दिया।
Before issuing form 3, they give the opportunity to the assessee.
दो प्रैक्टिकल आपको अप्रोच बता देता हूं साहब, एक जो आपको यूज करनी चाहिए। देखिए इस एक्ट में ये लिखा है कि एनी टैक्स पेड इन कॉन्सिक्वेंस टू फाइलिंग फॉर्म नंबर 3 इज नॉन रिफंडेबल। आपको आई होप यू आर गेटिंग दैट पॉइंट। आपने जो टैक्स में जमा करा दिया फॉर्म नंबर 3 के में वो नॉन रिफंडेबल है।
नहीं मैंने अभी जमा नहीं कराया।
एक मिनट सुन लो भाई, मैं आपके क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं दे रहा, मैं जनरल क्वेश्चन का आंसर दे रहा हूँ। आई एम टेलिंग यू ए प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच टू बी अडॉप्टेड। When you file form number 1 and 2, if there is any tax payable according to that form, according to you, I will suggest that you pay the tax before filing form number 1 and 2. And paying that tax also.
Sir, Sir, can I deposit that?
Why not? There is a demand against you. Why not?
Okay. But that is acceptable.
I will say you deposit a tax. Claim that tax paid in form number 1 and 2 with the result that your form 3 will say nil tax or a nominal tax.
So वो 20% भी तो जमा कराया था, 20% जमा कराया था, उसका भी तो क्रेडिट लोगे?
नहीं मैं उसमें क्या होगा
बाद ही बता रहे हैं सर, वो कह रहे हैं कि अगर रहता है तो पहले दे दो।
हाँ वही कह रहा हूँ मैं।
अश्वनी जी मेरे लॉजिक तो सुन लो। अगर आपने फॉर्म नंबर 3 के बाद कोई टैक्स जमा कराया वो अंडर नो सर्कमस्टांसेस इज रिफंडेबल। लेकिन अगर मैंने फॉर्म 1 and 2 फाइल कर पहले जो टैक्स जमा कराया वो टैक्स पूरा रिफंडेबल है, एडजस्टेबल है, मेरे कहीं भी मैं ले सकता हूँ सर। तो कोई किसी वजह से अल्टीमेटली मेरा फॉर्म नंबर 3 पे उनसे कोई डिस्प्यूट हो जाता है, किसी वजह से कोई और भी इश्यू हो जाता है, तो मेरा अगर मैंने 3 में जो जमा कराया वो मेरा झगड़ा खत्म नहीं होगा। लेकिन उससे पहले जो जमा कराया कराना तो है, मुझे आज कराना है कल कराना है, 3 महीने का है। अगर मेरा कहना है कि आप 1 and 2 को पहले भरते समय जितना टैक्स आपके हिसाब से बनता है वो जमा करा के देंगे तो ज्यादा सुविधा रहेगी, डिस्प्यूट कम रहेगा, क्योंकि वो अमाउंट रिफंडेबल है। लेकिन बात वाला रिफंडेबल नहीं है। सेकंड पॉइंट
सर, वन मोर क्वेश्चन, जो टैक्स जमा करते हैं
संजय जी एक मिनट रुक जाइए, मैं आपके बात लेट मी जस्ट एक्सप्लेन द लॉजिक।
ओके,
तो दिस इज माय वन सजेशन टू ऑल। सेकंड, जहां भी असेसमेंट में लॉस का इशू आया हुआ है, बहुत सारी असेसमेंट में आपकी रिटर्न लॉस की थी और असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने एडिशन करके कोई लॉस को कम कर दिया या आपके लॉस को इनकम में कन्वर्ट कर दिया। ऐसे केसेस में आपको ये देखना जरूरी है कि सब्सिक्वेंट ईयर में उस लॉस का आपने बेनिफिट लिया है या नहीं लिया है। अगर आपने सब्सिक्वेंट ईयर में उस लॉस का बेनिफिट ले लिया है तो मेक श्योर कि उस साल में आप टैक्स दे दें, उस साल में नहीं जिस साल में आप ये एडिशन हुई है, क्योंकि अगर आपने उस साल में वो लॉस को एडजस्ट कराने की कोशिश की वहां पे तो अगले साल का आपके लॉस नहीं मिले, कैरी फॉरवर्ड नहीं होगा और उसके ऊपर इंटरेस्ट आज तक का लग जाएगा। आई जस्ट गिव एन एग्जांपल फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग। सपोज इन 2005-06 you filed a return declaring a loss of 20 lakh rupees. Assessing officer made an addition of say 15 lakh rupees and your net loss assessed is 5 lakh rupees. Now in assessment year 11-12, within the period of 8 years, you had an income of 30 lakh rupees against which you have taken benefit of that 20 lakh rupees loss. Assessing officer ने 5 लाख किया हुआ था. Now you have two options under this scheme, either to pay tax on 15 lakh rupees addition, that will be 4,50,000 rupees, or you said I will not pay any tax here, I will allow my reduced loss to be carried forward. Now, in case you do not pay tax here and you allow loss to be carried forward at 5 lakh rupees, in 11-12, where you have taken benefit of 20 lakh rupees will be get restricted to 5 lakh rupees. and on 15 lakh rupees additional income, because you are not, यहाँ विवाद नहीं है, कहीं भी यहाँ dispute नहीं है, उस income के ऊपर पूरा आज तक का interest वगैरह सब लग के आ जाएगा. In these cases, it will be advisable कि you say no, I don't want my reduced loss to be reduced. I will pay tax on 15 lakh rupees at 4,50,000 rupees and get out of it. But in case that loss has not been adjusted subsequently or has expired, then you say, I will not pay any here. Please adjust loss and I don't want to take any benefit. So we must keep this thing in mind on that part as well. I hope you understood my point, I believe.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Sir, Hanji sir, namaskar.
Welcome to you.
It's a treat, sir, to listen to both of you, both of Jans here, and it's really a treat. बड़े हमें points मिले जिससे हमारी doubts clear हुए. Sir, एक लेकिन मेरा केस वो है जो set aside matter है, जिसमें the case is set aside by the ITAT to the AO. तो AO ने जब किया तो AO ने डिमांड रेज कर दी. The case has gone against us by as determined. AO ने डिमांड डिटरमिन कर दी. But at the same time, when it was set aside, after that, the department has preferred an appeal to the High Court. तो High Court में appeal pending होगी हमारी. अगर आज की डेट में, so I am an appellate as so far as the matter, although the appeal is pending with the High Court of the department. पर फिर भी मैं तो एज ए एप्लेट तो हो ही गया ना विवाद से विश्वास तक. जब मैं फाइल करता हूं तो उन्होंने डिपार्टमेंट अब मेरे को रिजेक्ट करने में है. दे वांट टू रिजेक्ट द एप्लीकेशन ऑन द बेसिस कि आपकी तो डिमांड ही डिटरमिन है. हमने आप केस हारे हुए हो तो हम 50% पे क्यों माने. चलो मैं आई एग्रीड कि 50% पे नहीं हम देते. मैं उसको कवर करना चाहता हूँ कि 100% टैक्स ले लें, एटलीस्ट इंटरेस्ट और पेनल्टी तो माफ हो. क्या सेट असाइड मैटर सारे ही कवर्ड है?
नहीं, मेरा कहना कुछ और है. जब ट्रिब्यूनल ने मैटर को एओ पे सेट असाइड किया और सेकंड राउंड में एओ ने फिर असेसमेंट कर दी आपकी, हाँ, उसकी अपील आपकी सीआईटी अपील पे पेंडिंग होगी आज की डेट में? नहीं
हुई सर, नहीं की, हमने नहीं की ना.
वही तो गड़बड़ हो गई
सर. यही तो कॉम्प्लिकेशन है कि उसकी यही तो कॉम्प्लिकेशन है.
दैट्स अ चैलेंज व्हिच हैज कम.
सर इसने पहले प्लान ना ली ना आपसे ना मेरे से, पैसे भी दिए.
चैलेंज तो यही है सर, चैलेंज यही है. लेकिन क्या क्वेश्चन नंबर
सीआईटी अपील पे क्यों नहीं फाइल हुई अपील?
हैं
सीआईटी अपील पे क्यों नहीं फाइल हुई?
मेरा केस तो अभी आया है, मेरे पास तो अभी आया है. मैंने तो ना फाइल नहीं किया.
एक काम करो, आज फाइल कर दो मैडम की अभी कंडोनेशन के साथ.
हाँ, आज फाइल कर दे. लेकिन वो हमारी पर हाई कोर्ट में तो पेंडिंग है ना सर डिपार्टमेंट की.
तो मैं कहता रहा हूँ, मैडम कहते रहिए आज अब उस अपील को फाइल तो कर दो कंडोनेशन के साथ.
अच्छा, आज फाइल करते हैं कंडोनेशन के साथ. चलो लेकिन क्या इस पॉइंट में क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 में कवर नहीं होता?
नहीं, मैं कुछ और कह रहा हूँ. आप इसको फाइल कर दीजिए कंडोनेशन के साथ में और सीआईटी मैडम से कह के सीआईटी अपील से डिले कंडोन करा लीजिए और वहां लिख दीजिए अपील पेंडिंग विद सीआईटी अपील.
वो है सर टीडीएस मैटर है, उसका मैटर इज टीडीएस. पूनम सिद्धू जी के पास नहीं है, वो टीडीएस का मैटर है.
कोई बात नहीं, शी इज द प्रिंसिपल सीसीआईटी करा ले, हो जाएगा.
चलो देखते हैं, लेट्स सी. अदरवाइज सर इन ऑल दी सेट असाइड केसेस क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 लगेगा नहीं उस पे. पॉइंट क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 एफओक्यू सीआईटी अपील मैटर पेंडिंग विद सीआईटी अपील नहीं लगेगा इन ऑल दी सेट असाइड केसेस. नहीं लगेगा सर क्वेश्चन नंबर 7.
सेट असाइड होगा, डिसाइड हो गया ना. सेट असाइड रहा कहाँ? वो एओ के पास तो है नहीं. तो
वो अब ये है ना, डिसीजन उनका प्रॉपर नहीं हुआ. दे हैव नॉट सेंट द नोटिस टू अस, दे हैव जस्ट इशूड द डिमांड नोटिस. नो हियरिंग वाज डन, नथिंग ऑन द डायरेक्शंस, जस्ट ऑन द डायरेक्शंस की ठीक है यार ये आपका केस अगेंस्ट है, क्योंकि एक हमारी पेंडिंग चल रही थी अपील, तो उसमें केस अगेंस्ट हो गया था. तो उसका वो लगा के उन्होंने हमें सिर्फ डिमांड नोटिस भेजा.
I believe in any case you have to file an appeal. Dispute तो विवाद तो क्रिएट करना ही पड़ेगा, तभी विश्वास आएगा.
चलो ठीक है. बट मैंने फाइल की है सर इसको विवाद से विश्वास में सीआईटी अपील लगा के 100% पे दे आर डूइंग ऑन देयर ओन की कवर करेंगे वो किसी ना किसी तरह. वो
कर देंगे
100% पे तो दे आर एग्रीइंग की टू कवर इट.
हाँ 100% करा लो, कवर करा लो.
बस ठीक है, थैंक यू.
एक माय क्वेश्चन सर, एक मेरा क्वेश्चन भी है. एक मेरे किसी कल मेंबर का फोन आया कि असेसमेंट ईयर गलत डल गया सर अपील करते समय. तो वो आ नहीं रहा, कैसे उसको सोल्व किया जा सकता है सर?
प्रमोद जी जवाब दो भैया इनको।
वो हमारे किसी मेंबर का है सर।
सर वो उनके रिकॉर्ड में नहीं आ रहा ना, तो आप उसका पहले तो एक अपील का आप उसका एक रेक्टिफिकेशन फाइल करें सीआईटी अपील के पास ही,
ठीक है,
सो दैट ही कैन चेंज इट, क्योंकि उसके अलावा आपके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है। और जब आप वीएस में जाएं उसी साल का करें, एंड देन यू हैव टू गो विद द चीफ कमिश्नर और उनको बताना पड़ेगा जी है इसी साल का, इसी की अपील फाइल कर रखी है, टाइम से कर रखी है, क्लेरिकल एरर है, सो देन दे विल अलाउ इट।
एक्चुअली सीआईटी अपील से तो हुआ नहीं, अभी मैंने मैडम को भेजा है केस, मतलब पता नहीं रिजोल्व कहाँ से होगा, ये नहीं पता चल रहा है
सर। आपको दोनों जगह करना पड़ेगा, वहां पर भी सीआईटी अपील के पास भी जब ये जाएगा, वो उस साल की बात करेंगे तो आपको वहां जाके बताना पड़ेगा कि जब वो उनको क्वेश्चन भेजेंगे, जब उनको डिटेल भेजेंगे तो बताएंगे कि हाँ जी ये इसके अंदर है, तो आपको दोनों जगह जाके काम कराना पड़ेगा सर।
अश्विनी जी आप अश्विनी जी,
हाँ जी,
प्रमोद जी ने बताया उसकी बात का, टेकिंग सपोर्ट फ्रॉम देम। आपसे अगर कोई टैक्स किसी गलत असेसमेंट ईयर में जमा हो जाए,
हाँ जी,
मान लो 11-12 की 12-13 में, तो आप क्या
चेंज कराते हो ना? हाँ,
ये पे जाके कराते हो ना, ठीक कि भाई तू कर दे इसका, और वो खोल के कर देता है, तो सीआईटी अपील पे इतना भी नहीं करा सकते कि एक अपील का असेसमेंट ईयर चेंज करा लो।
और मेरा किसी मेंबर का कल आया था सर, मैंने वो मैसेज की रिगार्डिंग ना,
एक मिनट का काम है, अपील फाइल्ड है, क्या मुश्किल का काम है? लेकिन ये ना कि जाना नहीं चाहते उसके ऊपर, चाय पीने जाना नहीं चाहते।
एक मेरा क्वेश्चन है। हेलो,
कैरी ऑन।
हाँ जी, एसएक्स की पेनल्टी का ऑर्डर हो चुका था, पेनल्टी मतलब उसके लिए अपील तो फाइल करी नहीं गई, और जो डिस्प्यूटेड एडिशन है उसकी अपील फाइल है, तो उस केस में क्या मेरी पेनल्टी वेव?
नहीं, फिर ठीक है, पेनल्टी की अपील फाइल करी नहीं करी कुछ नहीं है। अगर आपकी डिमांड डिस्प्यूटेड इनकम है, उसके बेसिस पे पेनल्टी ऑटोमेटिकली साफ है, आपको बता देना ये पेंडिंग है, पेनल्टी
साफ हो जाएगी, चाहे वो उन्होंने रिकवर भी कर रखी हो,
चाहे पूरे रिफंड देंगे सब आपको, आप चिंता क्यों करते हो?
रिफंड
मैं आपको
जितने भी लोग हम कह रहे हैं ना कि फॉर्म 1
लाइव के शेयर कर दूं
सर, हम जितने भी लोग कह रहे हैं ना फॉर्म 1 2 का 3 पेंडिंग है, वो मैक्सिमम रिफंड वाले केसेस में
मैं एक लाइव केस शेयर कर दूं। एक केस में 2006-07 में एक एडिशन हुई जिसमें 1.5 करोड़ रुपए का डिमांड क्रिएट हो गई, और ड्यूरिंग द पेंडेंसी ऑफ द अपील डिपार्टमेंट ने उसे 1,52,00,000 रुपए की रिकवरी कर दी। ट्रिब्यूनल में वो जीत गया। जैसे वो जीता तो असेसिंग ऑफिसर को लगा यार तो गड़बड़ होगी, उसने 7-8 का केस खोल दिया, और 7-8 का केस खोल के उस वही एडिशन वहां कर दी, और वो केस आज की डेट में ट्रिब्यूनल में पेंडिंग है। डिमांड वही 1.5 करोड़ रुपए की है। अब हम डिपार्टमेंट को कह रहे हैं कि साहब एक काम करो, इसको सेटल कर दो 1,52,00,000 पे, और 6-7 का मेरा 1,52,00,000 की जो आप 2011 में रिकवरी कर लाए थे उसका याद लगा के 3.5 करोड़ बनता है, 3 करोड़ बनता है, तो 3.5 करोड़ में 1.5 करोड़ एडजस्ट करके 2 करोड़ रुपए मुझे दे दो। और डिपार्टमेंट एग्री कर गया देने के लिए, बोला फार्म लाओ जल्दी से फटाफट, हमारा तो काम होता है, पैसे तो मिलेंगे वापस।
सर मिलते नहीं है,
ऐसा नहीं है साहब, उसके साथ में तो फार्म के साथ लग के आएगा।
हेलो,
हाँ जी,
हेलो,
यस प्लीज।
हेलो,
we have got a form number 3, and after that we have filed application for withdrawal of appeal with CIT appeal. Original appeal was filed delayed, but it was pending on 31st January, and CIT is neither available physically or not. They are taking any decision for filing appeal online. So whether form number 3 will be a conclusive evidence, or we have to wait till the appeal is withdrawn and we have to file the form number 4. There was no tax payable. It was a refund case.
साहब कमल जी, मैंने अभी बताया एक्ट के अंदर तो सीआईटी अपील या ट्रिब्यूनल की अपील ऑफिशियली विड्रॉ करने की जरूरत नहीं है। All you have to do while filing form number 4, you just file a letter which you have submitted to the CIT appeal. उसकी कॉपी लगा दो बस,
वो चलेगा।
क्या नहीं किया कुछ नहीं चाहिए, लेटर लगा दो बस।
वो लेटर लगा दिया तो चलेगा ना फॉर्म नंबर 5 के साथ।
मोर देन सफिशिएंट।
एंड एक सुप्रीम कोर्ट में एसएलपी पेंडिंग था, एडमिट हुआ है, उसमें भी एप्लीकेशन किया है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट को ऑनलाइन किया है, और उसका स्टेटस ऑनलाइन बता रहा है कि आपकी एप्लीकेशन पेंडिंग है फॉर विड्रॉल, एंड वी हैव आल्सो फाइल्ड एप्लीकेशन फॉर अर्ली हियरिंग। अर्ली हियरिंग के लिए एप्लीकेशन फाइल किया है, तो उस केस में क्या करें? सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जो पेंडिंग है वो भी सेम कर लें?
लेटर को लगा वही सेम कर दिया, तो वेट कर लो, हो जाएगी सुप्रीम कोर्ट से बेटा, नहीं तो फाइल कर दो आप उस लेटर को।
ये इसके लिए कोई टाइमलाइन है फॉर्म नंबर 4 को फाइल करने के लिए? रिप्लाई
31 मार्च 31 मार्च 2021।
So we can wait and for some more time.
Yeah, you can wait.
और वो एक बार फाइल
एक को क्वेश्चन है,
साइट का स्क्रीनशॉट दे करके सुप्रीम कोर्ट की साइट का, तो वो नहीं चलेगा क्या? बिकॉज एप्लीकेशन वाज मेड ऑनलाइन एंड वो अभी तक पेंडिंग है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में।
कई बार ज्यादा समझदारी तकलीफ होती है, और अगर स्क्रीनशॉट लेके भेजोगे तो वो दिखा रहा पेंडिंग है।
हाँ,
इसका मतलब विड्रॉ नहीं हुई है।
यस,
आप अपना लेटर ही दो, काफी दैट इज सफिशिएंट।
लेटर तो ऑनलाइन फाइल, कोई एक्नॉलेजमेंट नहीं है, चलेगा?
चलेगा साहब, कोई मुश्किल नहीं है। डिपार्टमेंट इज टू विलिंग, कोई दिक्कत, जब आप विड्रॉ कर रहे हैं तो क्या दिक्कत है उसमें? कोई इश्यू थोड़ी है इसमें।
जज साहब प्लीज आप ये वाला प्रपोजल वहां पे जो रिक्वेस्ट कीजिए, ये जो क्रेडिटर्स स्टैंडिंग इन द बुक्स और 68 की एडिशन है, इसके लिए, ताकि दे शुड परमिट इट
टू आंसर द अर्लियर क्वेश्चन आल्सो, वी आर प्रोटेक्टेड फॉर विड्रॉल ऑफ अपील एट 2 लेवल। एक तो मैंने सेक्शन 4(1) में बताया कि वहां क्लियरली लिखा शैल बी डीम्ड टू हैव बीन विड्रॉन 5(1) में। एक सेक्शन 4(7) में लिखा है नो अपीलेट फोरम और आर्बिट्रेटर, कॉन्सिलिएटर और मीडिएटर shall proceed to decide any issue relating to the tax area mentioned in the declaration in respect of which an order has been made under section 5(1) of the designated authority on the payment of the sum determined under that section. And appellate forum का मतलब है सारे forum, including High Court and Supreme Court. Once a declaration has been filed and an order has been issued in a 5(1), no appellate forum can decide on that issue.
जैन साहब, एक मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि ये द इशू ऑफ सेक्शन 68 एंड द बोगस क्रेडिट्स, इसको जरूर टेकअप करें बोर्ड के साथ कि भी अगर वो ये तो ऐसे इन्फिनिटी तक।
अश्विनी जी, आप मेरे को ही नहीं कन्विंस कर पा रहे कि बोर्ड को कैसे कन्विंस करोगे?
सर मैं ये कहता हूँ कि सपोज ये फिर एंट्रियां कैसे चली जाएंगी इन्फिनिटी तक?
आप देखो अश्विनी जी, मैं आपको बार बार बता रहा हूँ, देखो ये नहीं हो सकता जो आप चाह रहे हैं।
पर सर ये आफ्टर अगर एमनेस्टी ये एक किस्म की इन अ वे इफ नॉट डायरेक्टली टर्म्ड एज एमनेस्टी स्कीम है, तो एमनेस्टी ना जी। अगर मैंने एक क्रेडिट लिया, अगर मैं उस रिटर्न में उसको पे ऑफ कर देता है, उसको पे कर, उसको इनकम में लेके टैक्स पे कर देता, तो मेरे को सिर्फ टैक्स ही देना था ना। अब भी मैंने टैक्स दे दिया, तो आई शुड बी अलाउड टू टेक दैट इनटू माय क्रेडिट।
देखो, frankly, I'm not convinced. Frankly, I must admit.
Sir, उसका entry का
you may have a practical problem, not the, I think, legal answer to that.
अश्विनी जी, अश्विनी जी, आपके क्लाइंट बेनामी में अंदर जाने के लिए रेडी हैं?
नहीं सर, बेनामी में तो फिर
because you are saying you are accepting that it is bogus.
सर ये फिर अच्छी स्कीम कैसे हुई? ये
नहीं, आपकी ऑप्शन है सर।
पर ये
एंट्री जीवन जी, आप समझो, अगर आप ये कह रहे हैं कि एंट्री थी, देन बी रेडी टू फेस द अदर कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस।
विनोद जी, एक बात बताएं, ये फिर एंट्रीज के इन्फिनिटी तक चली जाएंगी?
आप अगर आप कह रहे हो एंट्रीज हैं, तो सर बेनामी लगना ही चाहिए ना, क्यों नहीं लगना चाहिए? मुझे बताओ
सर। अश्विनी सर,
वो तो उसको
बताइए, अगर डिपार्टमेंट ने इसको कंटेस्ट ना किया होता, आप नहीं कहा होता कि बोगस है, तब हम क्या करते बुक्स के अंदर? तभी तो हम ऐसे चला रहे थे ना सर।
नहीं सर, एक और है, अगर आप कैपिटल में कन्वर्ट नहीं करते, डिपार्टमेंट द्वारा टैक्स कैसे लगाएगा?
एक मिनट रुक जाइए, मेरे सामने ये एक्ट रखा है, इसमें लिखा है फॉर द, मैं 2 सेक्शन पढ़ देता हूँ आपको। फॉर द रिमूव, देखो आप एक स्कीम है स्पेशल, उसका बेनिफिट उतना ही ले सकते हैं जितना स्कीम ने दिया है। आप उसे लॉजिक ड्रा करके कुछ और खींचने की कोशिश करेंगे तो स्कीम कहती है मैं नहीं दूंगी। For the removal of doubt, it is hereby clarified that making a declaration under this act shall not amount to conceding the tax position, and it shall not be lawful for the income tax authority or the declarant, being a party in appeal or writ petition or SLP, to contend that the declarant or the income tax authority, as the case may be, has acquiesced in the decision of on the disputed issue by settling the dispute. 1. Second part, save as expressly provided in subsection 3 of section 5 or section 6 nothing contained in this act shall be construed as conferring any benefit or concession or immunity on the declarant in any proceeding other than those in relation to which the declaration has been filed. Now, how do you take a benefit under any other act and scheme? You see, question is, that's why I say कि भाई इसको लेना चाहिए. मैं कह रहा हूँ कि 68 में लॉजिक ही नहीं बन रहा.
सर इसी को तो मॉडिफाई करवाना ना जी.
नहीं हो पाएगा साहब, किसको क्वेश्चन ही नहीं होता लॉजिक आने का. Taxpayer has to bear with it. He is trying to say कि भाई इस साल का झगड़ा खत्म मेरा आपका बस.
सर बाकी लॉज में नहीं मिल सकता ना बेनिफिट. बाकी लॉज में कैसे मिल जाएगा? नहीं मिल सकता.
विनोद जी, अच्छा विनोद जी एक बात बताएं. If I agree to pay tax on 68 item, so that also is accepting that these are bogus entries. Indirectly, don't I accept it?
No, sir.
No, why not, sir? If department will उसका department का हाथ तो strong हो गया ना जी.
क्या हो गया? नहीं हुआ ना. आप ये सोच रहे हैं आप. नहीं हुआ कहीं भी.
अगर बेनामी की प्रोसीडिंग चलती हैं तो दे कैन टेक अ स्टैंड कि देखो इस आदमी ने खुद इसके ऊपर टैक्स भर दिया. इट tantamount to accepting that these were the bogus entries.
No sir, law protect you.
Sir, law under the Benami Act, I don't get any protection under this law.
सब protection है इसमें. बिल्कुल कई protection explanation यही लिख रही है कि nobody can say allege कि ये fact correct है. दोनों की पोजीशन सेव्ड है. बट आप फिर गोल पोस्ट चेंज नहीं कर सकते लेटर. मैं उसीलिए 41 पे भी यही व्यू कह रहा था ना. आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि मैंने खर्चा क्लेम नहीं किया, लेकिन वो आर्गुमेंट भी आएगा कि अलाउड नहीं हुआ. वो एक अलग इशू है, एक्ट की लैंग्वेज पे झगड़ा होगा वहां पे. लेकिन आपका राइट नहीं बन सकता है कंटेंट करने का कि मैंने क्लेम नहीं किया था. तो 60 आप देखो मैं दो बातें बड़ी क्लियरिटी से कहता हूँ. देखो एज ए टैक्स प्रोफेशनल हमारा जो मेन रोल है उस एक्ट को, जो कानून है आज की डेट में, उसको इंटरप्रेट करना है. उसमें क्या लिखा है, क्या वर्किंग आने वाली है, उससे बियॉन्ड नहीं आ सकते. और इसके लिए टाइम एंड अगेन जब हम ओपिनियन देते हैं किसी टैक्स पेयर को इसको बारे में, बहुत जिद्दोजहद होती है. वो कहता नहीं आप इसको कहते हैं. हम हमेशा कहते हैं हम है स्टेशन मास्टर. ट्रेन खड़ी है, अगर ग्रीन सिग्नल दिखा दिया तो ट्रेन छूट जाएगी और आगे एक्सीडेंट होगा तो जिम्मेवारी हमारी हो जाएगी. अगर इस एक्सीडेंट को रोकना है तो मुझे रेड फ्लैग यहीं लगाना पड़ेगा पहले. वी कैन नॉट टेक ए कॉल कि भाई सेक्शन 68 में जमा करके हम कहें कि नहीं साहब ये इनकम ये नहीं होगी. नहीं
वो तो ऐसे तो नहीं सर. हाँ ऐसे तो नहीं करेंगे. ओनली
लेकिन मैंने ये कहा कि सब जुगाड़ वाले हैं. इसका रास्ता जुगाड़ ही है और कुछ नहीं है.
ये सेक्शन 100
सर जुगाड़
सेक्शन 115 बीबी.
जैन साहब जुगाड़ भी बता दो.
जीवन जी
सभी होशियार हो तुम.
जीवन जी रहने दो. वो एकदम ओपनली नहीं होता है.
नहीं ओपन नहीं. क्या
जुगाड़ ओपन प्लेटफॉर्म पे नहीं आता है.
नहीं इसका सब अपना क्लाइंट अपने हिसाब से करेंगे. जो भी करेंगे जैसे भी होगा जो भी होगा. आई डोंट नो व्हाट कैन बी डन. Rightly at the moment may be difficult to immediately react on this issue, but I think there is no way out. One is only trying to buy the piece, getting out of the problem for that.
Assessment year 2017-18 में सेक्शन 68 की एडिशन हुई.
इसका जवाब मैं दूसरे तरीके से दे दूं आपको. अगर असेसिंग ऑफिसर बुलाए थे कि तेरी चिट्ठी आई है 148 के रीजन बन रहे हैं, तूने ऐसे पैसा ले रखा है और तू 5 लाख का टैक्स जमा करा या ये कर दे, ये चिट्ठी बंद, लेटर साइड में खत्म हो जाएगा. रख देता हूँ साइड. ये वही वर्किंग है कि डिपार्टमेंट कह रहा है कि भाई तू ये टैक्स दे दे, मुझे जमा करा दे, तुम्हारी ये फाइल बंद. बट इट डज नॉट से कि तुम अपने पैसे जमा कर लेना इसके कंट्री. एनीथिंग एल्स? आई थिंक वी हैव क्रॉस्ड टाइम.
असेसमेंट एक क्वेश्चन है. हेलो.
हाँ जी.
ये असेसमेंट है 2000.
I leave it here with them. How long you want to continue? Because it is 5:10 already.
This is the last one. This is the last one.
असेसमेंट है 2017-18 में एडिशन हुई 68 के अंदर. मेरे लॉसेस भी थे, 115 BBE लगा दिया और सेक्शन 68 की एडिशन थी। क्या स्कीम में अभी कोई ऐसा प्रोविजन है जिससे मैं लॉस सेटअप मतलब कर लूं उससे?
नहीं साहब, कुछ नहीं है, आपको 78% ही देके जान छूटेगी। प्रमोद जी
60%?
78 सर। प्रमोद जी म्यूट अनम्यूट।
इनका क्वेश्चन क्या था? 2000 असेसमेंट या 17-18 में एडिशन हुई है, उसमें लॉस कोई एडजस्ट होता ही नहीं है 115 BBE में।
And the tax will be 78%.
78%.
60% tax, 25% surcharge thereon and 4% education cess thereon. और आज की डेट में आपके पास 107% का पर्चा होगा, 29% आपके ऊपर इंटरेस्ट लगा होगा।
वो तो सर हाँ इंटरेस्ट बढ़ता जा रहा है।
थैंक यू मेंबर्स।
सर ये एक क्वेश्चन सर ये डेट्स ओवरलैपिंग हो रही है तो कुछ बढ़ने का सर कुछ है चांस? मतलब जैसे ऑडिट की भी है, ITR की भी है, VSP स्कीम की भी है, GSTR ऑडिट की भी है, मतलब कोई चांस है सर प्रमोद जी सर? या कोई रिप्रेजेंटेशन दे रहे हैं सर इंस्टीट्यूट की तरफ से?
That's a good question.
आपको एक्सटेंशन किसके लिए चाहिए?
नहीं, सभी का मतलब एक सिस्टमेटिक हो ना, डेट अलग अलग हो तो आप प्रॉपर वेटेज दे पाएगा। मतलब मेंबर हर उसका मतलब एक छोटी फर्म में तो सबके स्पेशलिस्ट थोड़ी होते हैं अलग अलग, उसके पास तो एक या दो पार्टनर होंगे तो वो क्या करेंगे?
ऐसा डिपार्टमेंट इसीलिए यही कहता है कि चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स के पास काम ज्यादा है और प्रोफेशनल्स को अलाउ कर दो। वो कहते हैं दे आर नॉट एबल टू हैंडल, इसलिए जब आप इंस्टीट्यूट रिप्रेजेंट करता है वो कहते हैं कि
प्रमोद जी बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं। मेरी हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट टू माय ऑल कलीग इज that as a professional we should never agitate for extension of date. We have earned a very bad name in the North Block corridors, and they always say that you rush and you create undue pressure on all of us, and that's why and there is a thought process which Pramod ji has indicated that you are all overworked and you are making a lobby and etc. And repeatedly, my word may not look good to many of you here in this. But while I'm making this request to all of my humble request is that as a chartered accountant, we should not make this representation of extension. Let the taxpayer, let the people who are a chamber, SOCHM, FICCI, CIE, let them fight it out on this. We should never get involved in this extension. I have seen how we are being scolded. I think Pramod ji will endorse what is happening there in the corridors there.
Sir, what they are saying, if you see last year's extension order, they are saying due to lack of time with the professionals, we are extending it. सारा blame चार्टर्ड accountants को.
And one thing
assessee भी हमको बोलता है और department भी हमको बोलता है.
One thing I may tell you incidentally is, department has no option but to extend this Vivase visa.
Yes, sir.
But till now they are taking the suggestions from us, then automatically they
example is indirect taxes. Last date of payment tax is 31st March. Obviously, after the 31st December, they know people do not submit in the last date, so they will extend it 31st March. December thereafter they will say now you can file a declaration by 28th February because tax is to be paid by 31st March. Then they will come, you pay an extra 10%, you file by 30th June. So all those
the moment
nobody should believe it that way. One should not get carried away by my word. I must not clarify. But that's why I say it is for them, not for us to think about.
Jain sir, the moment chartered accountants represent they say as due to the request made by chartered accountants, we are extending. The fault may be at their end, but they put all the blame on the professionals. So they may extend.
Chartered accountant professional, not other professional. Only chartered accountant professional.
Yes, because they are only going for extensions now. We are always going for extensions.
Yes, sir. Fully agree and appreciate your view.
I had
fully agree and appreciate your view.
I had the privilege and working with in talking of the member TPL, member CBDT, and they tell me, Mr. Jain, when I call up sometime for other matters, for some other issue coming up, they say, you don't have any other work. Why these people are sending so many letters, etc., and then filing writ petition at various high courts? Whether you people don't have any other work, why you get involved in all these things?
Thank you, Jain sir.
Thank you, sir.
My humble suggestion on that part is that please see to it that extension should not be our subject matter. though we are directly related, let the client take a lead, let the chamber take a lead, let other people, we can say you can take the lead. But on legal issue, interpretation issue, we being professional, we are duty bound to help the taxpayer. Yes, what is there? And the biggest link which we believe are between the taxpayer and the department are we. In case we believe the scheme is good, it will be successful. The moment we believe scheme is not good, the scheme will not be successful. As regard Vivad Se Vishwas, I think the general consensus among all of us is that this is a very good scheme. Whatever there may be further areas which can be expanded, scope can be widened, which we are working it out. But to the extent where the scope, within the scope people are coming, let them all should go in that scheme, file this declaration at the earliest, and try to persuade the client to the best extent possible to be part of this scheme. Because I believe in recent days, this is one of the schemes. All accommodation entry, share capital, bogus penny stock, capital gain, all those cases, this is one of the best case, because as I understand in appeal where assessee is contending, at least in 80 to 90% cases, assessee is on the wrong side. He has earned income, he has not paid a tax. Now what is being asked? Pay that tax now, and that's without any interest and any penalty. So nothing can be better like this in this scheme, I believe. So my suggestion will be good. We can have many questions, etc. But I think Pramod ji is always available. He's doing a very valuable service to the profession by issuing FAQ, all those issues, working it out. But Pramod ji is quite active as a council member. So I wish him all the best. And he continues to work, and all your questions, etc., he can still address. And in case you believe that any of the questions to be taken forward, you can always send it to him, the vice chairman of the direct tax committee, and he can take it forward to the board and get these resolved at the best to the best section. And one more suggestion on his behalf, I can make it, because I believe pre-budget memorandum is already going on. So any suggestion beyond Vivad Se Vishwas also, those can also be taken up on that part on the issue. Thank you, friend. And Pramod ji, I will be sending you few suggestions on income tax settlement. Because the procedure therein, I'm finding it a little cumbersome. Need to be, some people have approached me on that issue. So I will be requesting you to take up those settlement commission issues also, how to handle out of that.
Sure.
Thank you,
sure.
friends.
Thank you.
Over to, I think Amritsar chairman and the secretary, they were the least spoken people. Sanjay ji and Shashi Pal.
Thank you. Thank you, Jain sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Having another session at 5:30. So it is time to propose a vote of thanks. Shashi Pal ji, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vejan sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
For your valuable inputs, and
thank you.
I think members of Amritsar branch have benefited a lot from this fruitful discussion. Now I request our Vice Chairman Jitendra Bansal ji to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shashi ji. In absentia, Honorable Ma'am Poonam Sidhu ji, CCIT Amritsar, respected CA Ved Jain ji, our past President of the ICAI, CA Pramod Jain ji, Vice Chairman of the Direct Tax Committee of the ICAI, and in absentia, CA Rohit Kapoor ji, our most valued invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of the members of the Amritsar branch of NIRC of ICAI, special mighties from the Income Tax Department, especially CA Dvinder Singh Chaudhary ji, CCIT Amritsar, and members from the other branches here together, and on my behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all our eminent speakers for joining a virtual CP panel discussion regarding issue on Vivad Se Vishwas Scheme 2020 and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. Respected Ved Jain ji sir has also shared new ideas to improve the schemes by covering other years also. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to our panelists, CA Ved Jain ji, CA Pramod Jain ji, and CA Rohit Kapoor ji for sharing their knowledge and deep discussion on the today's topic. I also wish to express my gratitude to Madam Poonam Sidhu ji, CCIT Amritsar, for providing encouragement to the branch members for such webinars. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to state that we are almost grateful to all the speakers on this stage. We thank you for being with us this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jain sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Displayer.
Thank you, Vansal sir.
Thank you, Ved Jain ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, members, for joining this section. And and making this virtual meeting successful. Now it's time to end this meeting. Good evening to everyone and stay safe.